When we speak about sacredness in Islam, it is not merely symbolic or poetic, it is divine. It is a reality embedded into the rhythm of the universe, into the soul of time. And Muharram, the first month of the Islamic lunar calendar, is not simply a beginning on paper, it is a sacred, blessed gift from Allah. It is a month that Allah Himself has called sacred in the Qur'an. Indeed, the number of months with Allah is 12 lunar months in the register of Allah from the day He created the heavens and the earth. Of these 4 are sacred. Among those 4 is Muharram. That designation is not random, it is intentional, powerful, and full of meaning. The sacredness of Muharram means that it is a time for deep spiritual awareness. It is a period when the doors of mercy, forgiveness, and divine opportunity are swung wide open. And this is not a claim made for sentimental value, it is rooted in the practices and teachings of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, who not only emphasized the value of this month, but highlighted specific actions we can take to elevate ourselves through it. This month is not to be passed by in heedlessness, because it is an invitation from the Creator to step into a space of closeness to Him. One of the most powerful examples of this divine connection is the 10th of Muharram, known as Ashura. It is a day that commemorates the miraculous salvation of Prophet Musa, and the children of Israel from the tyranny of Pharaoh. Think about that. Muharram is not just sacred because of timing, but because it is a reminder of divine intervention, justice, and liberation. It is a reminder that no matter how oppressed, how stuck, how lost we feel, Allah's help can come in an instant. The sea can split, the path can open, the burden can be lifted. And so we are told to fast on this day, to emulate the gratitude of Prophet Musa, to recognize the power of Allah's mercy and support. But that's just one layer. Muharram also comes after Dhul Hijjah, the month of Hajj, the month of sacrifice. It is as if Allah is telling us after the sacrifice comes the sacred restart. Muharram is the new page. It is the time to set new intentions, to reorient the heart, to ask, who am I now? It is not a secular new year driven by fireworks and fleeting resolutions. It is a spiritual new year, a divine turning of the page. And if Allah has given you the chance to witness another Muharram, then He is giving you a moment of mercy, a moment to change, a moment to reflect, a moment to return. And when we say sacred, we must understand the implications. A sacred month means that good deeds are magnified, but so are sins. It is a time when we are to be especially mindful of our character, our worship, our intentions. If you've been neglecting your salah, Muharram says, start again. If you've been harsh in your words, impatient in your actions, careless with your obligations, Muharram says, you still have time to fix it. It is not a time for guilt, it is a time for hope, for cleansing, for intentionality. There's also another lesson hidden in its placement. Being the first month, Muharram reminds us that sacredness starts at the beginning. How you begin matters. Just like how you begin your day with Fajr, your meal with Bismillah, your relationships with trust, your year should begin with the remembrance of Allah, with gratitude, with worship, with fasting perhaps, with seeking forgiveness, with silence that reflects, not silence that forgets, with a return to Qur'an, to dua, to inner clarity. But let us not only look at the personal, it is also a time to reflect on the collective. Muharram is the month in which Imam Hussain, the beloved grandson of the Prophet ﷺ, was martyred at Karbala. His death was not a loss, it was a stand for justice, truth, and the preservation of the Prophet's legacy. When we remember Muharram, we remember sacrifice, we remember courage, we remember that being on the side of truth often comes with pain, but that pain has meaning, honor, and reward. That remembrance should humble us, it should wake us from spiritual sleep, it should remind us that every sacred time carries with it sacred responsibility. And so, if you are alive in this month, it is not an accident. If you are hearing these words, it is not by coincidence. Allah brought you here for a reason, and maybe that reason is because this is your moment to turn inward and realign. Maybe you've been distant, and this month is your chance to come back, Maybe you've been broken, and this month is your moment to heal. Maybe you've been strong, and this month is your opportunity to strengthen others. Whatever your story is, Muharram is for you. This is not about ritual alone. This is about connection, about clarity, about recharging your soul. We fast on the 10th, we reflect all month, but what matters most is that we awaken, that we become people of intention, people of purpose, people who remember Allah not just in the masjid, but in the quiet of the heart, in the stillness of reflection, in the sincerity of change. That's the real sacredness of Muharram. It's not just in the history, it's in the now, it's in what you choose to do with the days you've been gifted. So make the most of it, don't let it pass by like every other month. Fast, pray, forgive, heal, give and begin again, because if you make this beginning sacred, if you honor the weight of this month, then by the mercy of Allah, the rest of your year will carry that blessing forward. And what better way to walk into the future than hand in hand with divine mercy? That is what Muharram offers you. Don't let it slip away. Attraction is a word that's often misunderstood, cheapened by fleeting emotions, and misrepresented in a world that equates interest with impulse. But in reality, attraction, real, deep, meaningful attraction, is not about intense stares, butterflies, or charming compliments. It's about respect. It's about consistency. It's about how someone treats you when no one is watching, and when they have nothing to gain. One of the surest signs that someone is genuinely attracted to you, in the purest and most valuable way, is how they consistently treat you with kindness, honor your dignity, and show patience with your growth. Respect is not performative. It doesn't only show up in public or during conversations meant to impress. True respect is revealed in the silent moments, in how someone listens to you when you speak, in how they remember the things that matter to you, and in how they hold space for your thoughts and feelings, even when they may not fully understand them. A person who is sincerely attracted to you will not only be drawn to your appearance or personality, they will be drawn to your values, your beliefs, your dreams, and your boundaries. And that is where the strength of consistent behavior lies. Anyone can show interest briefly, anyone can text you good morning, compliment your appearance, or be affectionate in a moment of ease, but who stands by you when you are not at your best? Who respects you when your emotions are raw, your guard is up, or your circumstances are difficult? The person who continues to show you kindness and patience during those moments is the one whose attraction is rooted not in lust or novelty, but in genuine care and integrity. It's easy to fall for words. Words are beautiful, they build bridges, express emotions, and make promises, but they're also easy to use. Action, however, action requires effort. It requires sincerity. If someone tells you they care about you, but doesn't consistently treat you with respect, then the words lose meaning. Real attraction shows itself in what a person does, not just what they say. They don't joke about your insecurities, they don't use manipulation, pressure, or guilt, they don't push your boundaries or test your morals. Instead, they elevate you, they protect your character, they help you grow. When we look to the character of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, we find that his love and attraction to others was always tied to honor. He didn't just speak of love, he embodied it through mercy, patience, and unwavering respect. He would serve his family, show compassion even in disagreement, and treat others with a dignity that uplifted their spirits. Real attraction, the kind that endures and brings peace, follows that prophetic model. It's not selfish, it's not impulsive, it's not demanding, it is considerate, balanced, and rooted in a sense of spiritual and emotional maturity, and it is patient. A person who is truly attracted to you will not rush your journey, they will not force timelines or demand emotional returns. They will walk with you, not ahead of you or behind you, but beside you. That patience is a sign of love that understands growth takes time. That respect is a reflection of attraction that goes beyond appearance, because looks may fade, circumstances may shift, but character remains. The one who honors you through kindness and patience today is laying the foundation for trust, safety, and love tomorrow. It's also important to mention that consistent kindness is not weakness, it is not a tactic, it is strength. In a world where people often use one another for momentary gratification, being kind consistently is a sign of spiritual clarity. It is a sign that someone sees you not as a means to an end, but as a whole person, worthy of dignity, worthy of goodness, and worthy of time. That kind of attraction cannot be faked. It's not driven by mood swings or temporary chemistry. It is the fruit of a sincere heart. We live in a time where relationships are often transactional. People ask, what can I get out of this, rather than how can I give to this? So when someone comes into your life who consistently chooses respect over control, honor over flattery, and patience over pressure, that is rare, that is precious, that is the kind of attraction you do not ignore, that is the kind of person you thank Allah for. And remember, someone who is genuinely attracted to you will protect your reputation, not compromise it. They will guard your secrets, not use them against you. They will want what is best for you, even when it doesn't serve their interests. And they will guide you closer to Allah, not pull you further away. That's the most powerful form of attraction, when love becomes a means to better your soul, to strengthen your deen, to purify your heart. The consistent respect they show you becomes a mirror of their own spiritual discipline. The person who is kind to you today, tomorrow, and in moments of hardship, is someone whose heart is likely anchored in something greater than just desire. It is anchored in purpose. It is aligned with principles. That is the kind of person you want to build with, not just fall for. So if you're wondering whether someone is truly attracted to you, look past their compliments. Look past the occasional gestures. Look at how they carry your name in your absence. Look at how they handle disagreement. Look at how they behave when there is nothing to gain. That's where the truth lies. In the end, true attraction is not found in fleeting attention. It is found in the steadiness of character, in the quiet respect that does not need an audience, in the patience that allows you to be yourself, in the kindness that doesn't take breaks. That is real, that is lasting, and that, dear soul, is what you deserve. When it comes to understanding human behavior, especially in matters of the heart, there's a language that goes beyond words. It's a language made of eye contact, tone, energy, and emotional investment. One of the clearest signs that someone is attracted to you, not just casually, but meaningfully, is the way they listen to you. Not just hear, but listen. And there's a powerful difference. Most people listen to respond. They wait for a pause so they can say what they want. But someone who is genuinely drawn to you listens to understand. They're not distracted. They're not on their phone. They're not zoning out while you talk. They're present, fully. They give you their eyes, their time, their mental bandwidth. And in this fast-moving, overstimulated world, that is a very rare and precious thing. Real listening is a form of love. It's a kind of emotional investment that says, you matter, your thoughts are valid, your experiences are important to me. When a person pays attention to your words, not because they have to, but because they want to, that's a reflection of something deeper than passing interest. That's the sign of someone who values who you are, not just what you offer. Think about it. When someone you care about tells you about their day, their worries, or even their random thoughts, do you feel engaged, or are you mentally somewhere else? The person who's truly attracted to you will remember the things you say. They'll follow up. They'll check in. If you told them once that your favorite book is tucked away on a shelf from your childhood, they'll recall it. If you mentioned a fear or a hope, they won't forget. That kind of memory isn't about having a good brain, it's about having a caring heart. But it's not just what they remember, it's how they respond. Do they ask questions? Do they show curiosity, not to pry, but to connect? Do they offer empathy when you're vulnerable, or do they change the subject? Attraction that's authentic reveals itself in those small quiet moments, when someone chooses to hold space for your voice. They don't dismiss you, they don't talk over you, they let you finish, they reflect on your words, they absorb the emotion behind what you're saying. And here's the beautiful truth, when someone listens like that, it creates emotional safety. It makes you feel seen, valued, and understood. That's not just chemistry, it's a form of care. It means they're invested, not just in the version of you that smiles or entertains, but in the version that questions, doubts, feels pain, or seeks guidance. That level of emotional presence is hard to fake. It comes from a place of sincerity, Now let's flip it. What happens when someone doesn't listen, when they change the subject every time you get serious, when your words feel like background noise instead of something meaningful? That isn't love, that isn't care, that's surface level attention at best, and you deserve more than that. You deserve to be listened to with the same intensity and focus that you give when you speak from the heart. People who are genuinely attracted to you will show up for your words, like they matter, because to them they do. They'll remember your dreams, not just your favorite color. They'll notice the shift in your tone, even if you try to hide it. They'll ask how you're really doing, not just as small talk, but because they want the truth, even when it's heavy. That kind of attention is sacred. That kind of presence builds trust. Real attraction nurtures connection. It deepens with conversation, not shallow talk, but real talk, the kind that makes you feel known. And someone who leans into that space with you, willingly and often, is someone who's not just attracted to the surface, they're attracted to your essence, to your journey, to your growth. That's what makes it powerful. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need grand gestures to recognize this. You'll feel it in the way they stay quiet, so you can speak. You'll sense it in how they ask, "How are you?" and actually wait for the answer. You'll know it when you look back and realize, they've never made me feel small, they've never made me feel like my emotions are too much. That's not a coincidence, that's intentional connection. People often chase intensity, fast connections, big words, sweeping emotions, but it's consistency in attention that reveals truth. If they're really attracted to you, they won't just listen when it's convenient. They'll listen when you're tired, when you're unsure, when you're speaking your truth, especially then, because they'll want to know the full you, not just a curated version. And here's a key part. You'll feel the difference in your own body. When someone listens to you with real presence, your nervous system feels calm, your guard drops, you stop second-guessing yourself, you feel lighter after speaking. That's your soul responding to emotional safety. That's how you know someone sees you, not as a project, but as a person. That's not just attraction, that's value. So ask yourself, who listens to you with genuine care, who makes space for your voice, who leans in not just physically, but emotionally, when you open up, who lets your thoughts land in their heart, before rushing to respond? That's the person whose attraction is real, that's the person whose presence is rooted in respect. At the end of the day, the heart knows, the soul recognizes sincerity, and if you're blessed enough to be listened to like that, don't overlook it. That's love in its most respectful, intentional form, and that kind of attraction, it doesn't fade, it grows, it deepens, it builds something that words alone could never hold. When someone is genuinely attracted to you, they show it in ways that go far beyond grand declarations or momentary gestures. One of the clearest, most enduring signs is that they make time for you, consistently, deliberately, and without making you feel like an afterthought. Time, after all, is one of the most valuable resources we have. We don't give it easily, we don't offer it repeatedly, unless we care. So when someone intentionally creates space in their life for you, it means something real. Think about how people prioritize their lives. We make time for what we value, we rearrange our schedules for what matters, we respond to what pulls at our heart. If someone is constantly too busy, too tired, or too distracted to show up for you in even the smallest ways, that's a signal. It's not about needing hours of their day, it's about their willingness to carve out moments. 5 minutes of genuine attention means more than hours of distracted presence. And when someone is truly attracted to you, not for a short thrill, but for a meaningful connection, they make sure those minutes happen, regularly, purposefully. This kind of time investment isn't always loud. It doesn't need to be filled with extravagant plans or endless conversation. Sometimes it's as simple as a check-in message during a busy day. Sometimes it's choosing to sit beside you in silence, just to be close. Sometimes it's noticing that you're overwhelmed, and saying, "I've cleared my evening, let's talk," or "let's just be." That level of attentiveness isn't born from obligation, it comes from desire, a desire to be near you, to support you, and to remain connected to your world, even when everything else is pulling them in different directions. It's also important to understand that time is not just measured in hours or days, but in consistency. Do they follow through on their promises? Do they show up when they say they will? Do they make plans and keep them? People who are genuinely attracted to you will not let you become an option that fits around their convenience. They'll treat you like a priority, not all the time, because life happens, but enough of the time that you don't have to question your worth in their life. That security speaks volumes. It's not always easy to see this when we're emotionally invested in someone who gives us crumbs of their attention. We might tell ourselves stories, they're just busy, they're going through a lot, they'll come around. And yes, everyone has hard seasons, but even during those times, the people who care about you find a way to show you that you still matter. It might not be grand, but it's there. And when someone really wants to be in your life, they don't just show up when it's easy or when they want something from you. They show up because they genuinely value the connection. Time is also a way people build intimacy. The more time you spend with someone, not just physically but emotionally, the more vulnerable you become, the more shared history you create, the more trust develops. So someone who keeps showing up, who doesn't disappear when things get complicated, who makes time to talk, laugh, listen, support, and even just sit in quiet moments, is someone whose attraction is rooted in something stable. It's not excitement for excitement's sake, it's care, real, grounded, intentional care. We often overlook this, because we've been conditioned to value fast attention, the thrill of a sudden text, the excitement of a flirtatious comment, but these are fleeting. What you want to look for is the person who thinks about you when you're not around, who asks how your day was, not because it's routine but because they genuinely want to know, who remembers your appointments, your deadlines, your fears, who gives you space in their mind, their calendar, and their heart. And sometimes making time isn't just about presence, it's about sacrifice. Maybe they skip something they enjoy just to spend time with you when you're struggling. Maybe they stay up late even though they're tired, because they know you need to talk. Maybe they learn something important to you just so they can better understand your world. That's not superficial attraction, that's commitment in its early, intentional form. What makes all of this more meaningful is that you never have to beg for it, you don't have to chase it, remind them, or constantly ask, when will I see you next? Because the person who is genuinely attracted to you isn't just waiting for you to reach out, they're reaching out too, they're initiating, they're present, they're showing that the time they spend with you isn't something they're fitting in, it's something they're choosing, repeatedly. That choice tells you everything. Another powerful sign is emotional presence, because making time isn't just about being in the same room. Someone can sit next to you for hours and still not be with you, but when someone is emotionally present, they're not just physically there, they're mentally and spiritually connected, they're attuned to your mood, they pick up on the little things, they ask questions that matter. That presence is rare, and when it's offered consistently, it's a clear sign that their attraction to you is deep and meaningful. Ultimately, it comes down to this: the people who care about you will make time for you, you will not be a burden, you will not feel like an interruption, you will feel welcomed, cherished, and important. And when that happens, your own heart knows, it feels safe, it feels seen, it feels loved. So pay attention, not to the words people say in passing, not to the fireworks of new attention, but to the clock, to how people spend their time, because someone who makes time for you is making a statement: you matter to me, I want you in my life. And that message, that's the kind of attraction that leads to something real, something lasting, something worth holding on to.